Hello, so today we're going to be looking at how to animate a character walking in ToonBoom Harmony. If you can animate a character walk convincingly, then you're pretty much well on your way to be able to tackle more complex animated movements. Walks, when I went to uni, we didn't get introduced to walks until after like 6 months, but I think it's something that people can tackle straight away. If they just know how and they know the tools that they need and the process, then I feel like anyone of any ability could animate a stickman walk, for instance. Walks are actually very simple. There is a lot going on, but once you understand the basic process, how everything moves, then they're really fun to do and quite easy. But they are something I see a lot of beginner animators struggle with. So that's why I wanted to cover it early on. Often people struggle just because no one's shown them the right way, or one of the best practice ways of doing it. So there are tons and tons of ways of animating a character walk. I've got some examples here on screen that you can see. These are all walks or runs that I've animated in the past using various different pieces of software and techniques ranging from ToonBoom Harmony, Adobe Animate, After Effects, etc. But it doesn't matter how you animate a walk or what software that you do it in, the underpinning building blocks are always the same, and that is the key poses. So the key poses that we're going to be using today, courtesy of Richard Williams's Animator's Survival Kit. If you haven't got a copy, I recommend getting one, or you can get it on PDF, I think. So that's basically like the Bible for animators. If you haven't heard of it, I'd highly recommend getting it. Very useful. So there are essentially 4 key poses for a walk. I'll see if I can pull them up here. I was going to get them digitally, but it's quite nice to actually use the physical book. Let me just find where they are. Here we go. So you can see these here. So we've got contact pose, a down pose, passing pose, up pose, and then another contact pose. So that's stepping from one foot onto the other. And then to get a full walk cycle, you'd then go all the way back through these poses, the opposite way around to this position. So it's doing like a full cycle, and you end up back here. So as you can see, that's not how a walk is properly spaced. This is the correct spacing, which you can see here. And the most important thing that beginners don't normally get is the lining up, the placement of the feet. So you've got to imagine this foot, in taking one step, is rolling down onto the toe and then up onto the toe as it propels onto the next step. Okay, so intuitively, this is the other thing I want to talk about, and while I've got the book here, I might as well just use the book. But intuitively, people will maybe draw this first, second, third, fourth, fifth, because that feels like, oh, this is the order you're going in, so it makes sense. But the best way to actually do it, and what we'll be doing today, is to draw the contacts first. So this one and then this one, and what you do is you just line up the feet roughly. So this back foot here, we're lining up to be in line with roughly where the toe is going to step down, so the character will feel weighted in the walk and it'll feel believable. Because a lot of the time with bad animations, I was just debating mentally whether or not I should pull up examples of other people's work and call it bad, but a walk is objectively bad and unbelievable if the feet are all sliding around on the floor. So that's a bit of a long intro, but I could talk about walks all day, as sad as that sounds. I actually love animating walks so much. I've got walk cycle tattooed on my arm, and you can see here I've matched it up in After Effects and actually animated the tattoo, so I've got a nice animated tattoo of a walk on my arm. So yeah, as always, I just want to explain that this tutorial is in ToonBoom Harmony, but I will, whenever I find the time, be making the exact same tutorials in Adobe Animate and then some other free to use 2D animation software. And with that out of the way, let's get started animating our walk. Right, so let's get into it. First we're going to name our scene, so I'm going to call this walk cycle. I'm going to choose where to save it by clicking on Browse. This is the folder I want it in. I'm going to set this to 1080 25, so it's 25 frames a second, and click on create scene. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just make a background. So I'm just going to rename this background. Double click on the layer to rename it on the layer title, and then hit enter when you finish renaming. I'm going to go over here, create a rectangle, just zoom out a little bit, and then drag from the edges of the frame to cover the whole frame there. Okay, and then go to my paint bucket tool, select white and click to fill. So that's our background. Let's lock this layer. So now I want to make a new layer. So if I click this plus symbol here, click drawing, I can create a new drawing layer. So I'm going to call this character and click add and close. Okay, so here's our reference. We'll just have a look at this for a second. So here you can see the key poses. We've got contact, which is 1 pose, down 2, passing pose 3, up pose 4. So those are the 4 main positions of a walk. But to complete a full 2 steps or a walk cycle, there's actually 8 positions. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8. So those are the 8 main key poses of a walk cycle. I'm just going to drag this to one side. Okay, so first I'm just going to draw a circle for the head. That'll do. It doesn't have to be super neat. Okay, and then I'm going to draw like an oblong for the body. And then let's have an arm. That's my eraser, just get rid of this. So then I'm going to draw the back arm. Okay, and then the leg. So you can see here the character's right leg, which is nearest the camera, is going forward, which means the right arm is going back to counterbalance. So the legs and the arms should always be in opposite positions. So the left arm is forward, which means the left leg is coming back. Okay. Okay, I'll start with the foot here. I can go in and adjust these later, which I will do, just to make sure everything's lined up. So I'm just getting this last leg in. Foot's a bit small compared to the other one. There we go. Okay, so it's not amazing, it's not the best drawing in the world, but it illustrates what we need, which is the first contact pose of the walk. Let's just tidy that little bit of the head up. Okay. Now you can make walks much more complicated and beautiful than this one, where we'll have a bit of the body turning side to side. There can be like secondary action with hair movement and all that. But this, I just want to get across that how to do a simple walk, and then you can build on it from there. So here we've got our first contact pose. Let's just have another look at the key poses. So we've got our contact there, and next we want to draw our second contact pose. Okay. So I'm going to click next to it here, create another empty drawing. What I'm going to do to cheat and to save time is if I'm holding down Command or Control, I think on a PC, I can get the selection tool, circle round and select my character, and I'm going to hit Command C or Control C to copy and just paste that in there. And also I'm just going to quickly unlock my background, and go to the end here and hit F5 to just extend the exposure on that, so I've got my background all the way across the timeline. Okay, so I've got my drawing pasted in here. I'm just going to turn my onion skin on. Okay, and then I'm going to erase the legs. So it's Alt E for the eraser. Let's go on the right layer. Okay, so if I turn on my onion skin, I can see the legs that I've erased there. I'm just going to do the same for the arms. Okay, so I'm just going to erase the arms. There we go. What I'm going to do is just join these up. So I'm just going to join the body up. So I'm just joining the body up, and now I've got a head and torso that I can just copy and paste for all of the other positions rather than having to draw it out multiple times. Okay. So here, it's really simple. For the second contact, all I need to do is just reverse the position of the arms and the legs. So I'm just going to zoom in. So this back arm, or rather the front arm, the one that's closest to the camera, is trailing backwards. So now on the second contact, it needs to be the one that's going forward. I'm being lazy here and just lining it up over where the other arm is, so we have kind of got some turning on the body, I guess. This isn't exactly how the arms would line up. It'd probably be in a slightly different position, but if you're wanting to do something quick that looks passable, this is a quick, easy way of kind of cheating it. Okay. But you'll see here, this arm's now behind rather than in front, and this arm is in front instead of behind. If I turn the onion skin off, you can see there what's going on. Okay, so doing the same thing for the legs. So this leg is now in front. This is the leg that is behind. Okay, just going to turn the onion skin off. Tidy this line a little bit, not that it matters because it's a rough thing anyway. Just, there we go. Okay, just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so not much is going on there. All that's happening is they're flipping. So if I just turn the onion skin back on and hold Control or Command so I can select this, and then go onto my selection tool, and if I click and hold down and hold Shift, it will keep it in line. And what I want to do is line these feet up. Okay, so you can see here, I basically want it so where the toe would come down, let's just move that a little bit more, we'll just give it a nudge. Okay, so where the toe would come down, that's where I'm lining this toe up, because this is the same leg. Even though the volumes there are a little bit shaky, but it's the same leg. Right, so we've got one pose to the next. So I just want to, because I've got this one copied and pasted, I'm just going to paste this here. And just keep this here for now so I can come back and grab it. But what I'm going to do is just select this first contact pose. Go here, add a new empty drawing. And then paste that. And then do the same thing again. Hold Command or Control and then Shift to keep it locked. And drag it across and line up where the toe will land with this foot. And then we've got, I'm just going to copy this and select this frame, hold Shift, select this one and just drag these across one, create a new empty frame and just paste this here and put it in the middle of these for now. Okay, so I'm gonna use this body over and over and just paste it for all of the other keyframes so I can just draw the arms and legs. Okay, so now I want to add my guidelines. So I'm gonna click on the plus symbol, add a new drawing, call this guides, add and close, and I'm gonna go create an empty drawing, line tool. If you're on the rectangle, just click and hold down to get the line. And I'm going to go to the foot, hold Shift, and then click and drag, and I'm going to get a nice straight line across the screen. Okay, and then if I select that line, copy, paste, and then drag this up and just line it up with the top of the head. Okay, so now I want to make sure that every drawing the feet are planted on this line, and then I can monitor where the head is, whether it's up or down in relation to this line as and when I need it to be. So the down pose we need it to be below, up pose above, etc. And then we'll get a nice arced movement on the walk. Okay, let's just zoom out of the timeline a little bit and extend the guides to the end. So go to the last frame, hit F5, and then come back here. Okay, so here we're going to add our first passing pose. So we've got all of our contacts in, first contact, second contact, and then coming back round to the first contact pose again, obviously in a different position, but to complete the walk cycle. So it's our 3 contacts in, and now we're going to add our first passing pose. So the passing position, passing pose, mid pose, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, is where the character has the foot planted. So let's just make sure we've got this copied again before I do anything to it. I'm going to zoom in using 2 on the keyboard, hold space to move the canvas around, and 1 is zoom out, so 2 in. So before I add any drawing to this this pose, what I need to do is, let's just have another look at the reference. So we've got the foot planted here, but we've got the head passing up through this line at the head. So we need to move the body up before we draw the leg. Okay. So I'm just going to select the body and move this up, similar to how it looked on the reference. Okay. Now I'm going to draw the foot here lined up with these 2 feet. So from the heel of this foot to the toe of this foot. Okay, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's do that again. And then cut through the body. That's this front leg. And just erase this here. And then this leg here is the one that's being raised off the ground. Okay, so we're going to have come down here, have the knee bent. Okay, foot like this. There we go. Okay, and then this front arm is also, everything's kind of very straight in this this position. Okay, just a raise here. And the back arm is also in a similar position. Okay, so let's just turn off the onion skin and we flick through. You can see that's starting to look more animated now because we've got 2 key poses there and a breakdown. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll add the other breakdown or the other passing position between these 2. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this along and create an empty drawing there. Put my onion skin back on. So same thing again, I've moved the body up so that the head is above the line slightly, and then I'm just going to line the feet up. Okay. Now this is the back leg, right? So let's just, we'll not draw the leg in first. We'll just draw this front leg. So this is coming down and bent at the knee, almost at a right angle. This foot here. And then this leg coming down behind. This foot feels a little bit small. I think that's because my contact pose here needs moving a little bit. So let's just move that along slightly. Come back here and we can just make this foot a little bit bigger. Okay, and then the arms. So the arms are in kind of similar positions to the other passing pose. They're both kind of in the middle. Okay, we'll turn the onion skin off again so we can see. So that's starting to feel like a walk. We've got to bounce up and down. 2 very distinctly different poses. So that's with the keys and the breakdowns. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is add the downs and the ups. Okay, so let's just spread these out. So I'm just going to spread this, add an empty drawing in there. So that's where my first down is going to go. Then we've got the passing position. I'm going to stretch this as well, add a blank frame there. That's where the up is going to go before we come back down. And then again, same thing, stretch, add in a frame between the contact and the second passing pose for the down, and then just move this one along, add an empty frame, and this is where our second up will go. Okay. So let's just put the onion skin back on. Okay, so we've got our contacts and our breakdowns there. You can see that's already starting to look like something that's animated. Okay, so next I'm just gonna move these handles slightly from my onion skin. And first we're gonna do the down position, the first down. Okay, so I'm gonna go halfway in between first, and then for the down position, we want the head slightly below the line, okay? So we're going to go to about here. Right, let's zoom in. So in the down position, we want the foot planted. So we'll just trace over this planted foot here. And I usually tend to go up to the knee on the leg as well. And then thigh up to the body. Okay, this is the front leg, so we need to just cut through the body there slightly and then erase some of it. Okay. And then the back leg, we're literally on the tippy toes. So go from the corner there, up, bit of a heel. But this leg is trailing up to the body. Okay, so that's why we're going down, we're onto the foot, the knee is bending, so the character's head is going to come down slightly. Okay, and this is actually the pose. The down pose is where the arms are at the widest. Another common mistake early on is people will have the contact pose as, you know, where the arms are spread, but it's actually, if we look at the reference here, the arms are spreading out a bit, so as the body's coming down, it's kind of like a bottle opener or corkscrew. The arms come out slightly from the force of the body going down. Okay, so let's draw this back arm in, so that's roughly here, and just have it out slightly wider than it is in the contact pose. Okay. Same thing here, this back arm swinging in slightly wider than it is in the contact. Okay, so now if I just turn off the onion skin and we cycle through, you see it goes down and the arms come up a little bit. So we've got our down there, there's our passing position. Now we've got the up to do. Okay, so let's just turn the onion skin back on, paste the body and head, move it roughly halfway in between, and then the up is higher than the passing position. Okay, so I'm just gonna raise this up until the head's about, you know, halfway over the line. Okay. Then we want to line the feet, so we're literally halfway in between here. We're kind of in betweening with everything. So I'm gonna draw the base of the foot and then go in between and up to the body. And up again, just erase this, and then this back leg is starting to extend out towards the floor, so the knee is even more raised, or the thigh, and shin, just go up there to the body, and drawing the foot. Okay, and then this arm start to swing forward. And the back arm, got the elbow poking out as the back arm is starting to swing out. Okay, so now we've got the down pose and the up pose in here. We just need to put in our down pose and up pose for the second step. Okay, so I'm just going to select the down pose here, and rather than just pressing Control C and Control V, what I'm going to do is select it and then right click and choose to copy drawing object. Because sometimes if you copy and paste, what it'll do is it'll make a clone, and then any changes you make to that drawing will affect the original drawing, and ToonBoom can be infuriatingly messy like that if you don't know what's going on, and you can end up wasting lots of time. Okay, so just copy drawing object, and then we'll go to where the second down pose needs to be and paste. And now I'm just going to drag this along and line up the feet. Okay. Right, and now what I'm going to do, this is a cheap and dirty way of doing it, but I'm just going to save time. I'm just going to make this arm the back arm, and make this arm the front arm. And you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just erasing and changing where the line body is. So now this arm's on the front. I need to make this the back leg, and this one the front leg. Okay, so we're going to copy the up position. So I'm just going to select this, right click, copy drawing object, I'll come over here and paste. And then I'm just going to line up where the toe is. And same thing, I'm going to make this the back arm. So any bit that's overlapping the body, I'm just erasing, and draw a line through here for the body. And then make this arm the front arm. And this leg the back leg, and this leg the front. Okay, let's turn the onion skin off. Right, so there we have all of the key poses for our walk. Now the only thing we have to do from here is in between. Okay, I'm just gonna set this to loop, right? So let's just drag this bar here to the end frame, okay? And that's trimming the playback. And I'm just gonna select this here to loop and then hit play. And you can see that's very, very fast, yeah? Because we've not got any of our in-betweens in there. Right, let's just stop that. Okay, so now we just want to add our in-betweens. So what's considered a normal walk in animation is called a walk on 12s, right? Which means it takes 12 drawings to complete one step, which is roughly half a second. 12 frames is about half a second. So it takes 1 second for a walk cycle. Okay, so to get us up to this, we basically need 2 in-between drawings in between each of the key drawings, okay? So I'm just going to drag these along 1, 2, and then create an empty drawing, and again create another empty drawing there. So I've got 2 empty drawings in between my first 2 key drawings, okay? What I need to do is space these out so I've got 2 empty drawings in between each of the keys, okay? So you can see what I'm doing here, just creating empty drawings in between each one. So I'm going on to the next one, drag these along 2, create empty drawings. So I'm going to go to the next, 2 empty drawings, do these for all of them. Okay, now if I hit play, you see that kind of, it looks like a walk going at a normal pace. From what you can see, it's just very flickery because it's not got the in-betweens in. Okay, so to approach the in-betweens, let's turn our onion skin on. So we're going from this position to this position, right? So I'm just gonna copy this pose. Let's copy the drawing object and paste it in. Okay. And then I'm just gonna erase all of the limbs. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, like I did earlier on, I'm just gonna draw lines back in to join the body up. Okay, I'm going to select this and copy it. Now a lot of the time when you're in betweening, let's just move this to the side, you're going to go halfway in between two drawings, okay? So that's in betweening on halves, right? But because we've got two drawings in between each of the keys, we need to do these in-betweens on thirds, okay? So the way I approach this is I'll select this, I've got it halfway, so I move it halfway between first, and then I go halfway between where that just was, because you can still see where it was, and then put this outline halfway between the halfway point and the first contact, okay? So I've got that there on a third, right? So if I just in between now, just remember, rather than going halfway in between like that with the foot, I want to favour this first position. So let's just get the foot in. So I'm going just under halfway between where, from this position to this position, so I'm going closer to the red. Okay. Same with the foot, so I want to be closer to the red, so like this. Then with the arms, okay. So we're going out slightly wider in the next position. So this one wants to be just slightly higher up than the key, the contact pose. Okay, and this arm again, just come in slightly up. Okay, let's just turn the onion skin off. Let's see here, I just need to erase this line. And then here, let's turn the onion skin back on. I can paste this body again, and then I can just go halfway between the other in between, and the next key pose. And that is roughly spaced on thirds. Okay, so let's just change the onion skin there. So here we can be roughly halfway in between. Okay, so let's draw the leg. Foot. Okay, let's turn the onion skin off. Now you can see I've got the first bit in between. Let's just hit play. Zoom out, let's just loop this so we can see what's going on here. Okay. So I've got the very first bit in between out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is pretty much the exact same process. So we're pasting the body. Let's just get the onion skin on. So if we go to where the next blank frame is here, so we're pasting the body and head, and then we're going roughly halfway in between, and then we're going halfway between back to the first of these two key drawings. Okay, so that is then on a third, and then once you've got the arms and legs in there, paste the body in, and then you can just go roughly halfway between these, probably ever so slightly off more towards the green, but you can go halfway between, and then you've got your two in-betweens on thirds there. Okay, and then it's basically just repeating that process to the end. So I'm going to go, let's just undo that. So I'm going to go through these. I'll, obviously speed up the process so you can see it on the screen, and then we'll join back together at the end. Okay, so now the in-betweens are in, you can see there we have our walk cycle. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly export this. So if I stop playing there, I'm going to turn the guide layers off, and there you can see, and then just go to File, Export, Movie, and just choose where I'm going to save it. So I'm going to save it walk cycle and just call it walk cycle 1. Okay, click export. So yeah, as always, let me know if there's anything you liked about this. Obviously leave us a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know if there's anything that you didn't like so much or you think could be improved on. But yeah, happy animating. Good luck.